The Premier League has been full of surprises this season, none more so than Tottenham's potential relegation to the Championship. And Tottenham being relegated to the Championship would probably be the most high-profile relegation in Premier League history. However, one club in the Premier League are doing everything in their power to prevent Spurs from going down, and that is their local rivals, West Ham United. The Hammers have struggled all season, fan anger has been directed towards the ownership, so West Ham need to pull their finger out. So today we are relieving Nuno of his duties. We are becoming the new manager of West Ham United. We need to keep the Hammers in the Premier League in the short term, and the long-term goal will be to win a UCL trophy. And talking of goals, we're so close to 10,000 subscribers, boys. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel. So the contract is signed, and we are now the official manager of West Ham United. And as we are using the live start points feature, we start in the relegation zone, 1 point off Spurs, with a short gap to Leeds and Nottingham Forest. It looks like a two-horse race between West Ham and Spurs as to who is going to go down. And if we look at West Ham and Spurs' running, both are very similar in terms of difficulty. It's genuinely impossible to call, in real life anyway, who's going to go down. Now, as we're using the live start points feature, we do currently start in March, which unfortunately means for us we can't make any signings in season 1. But we do have an FA Cup quarter-final to look forward to, and we are taking on Leeds at home. That's a very good chance to get to a Wembley semi-final. But the team we have loaded into at West Ham United is not as bad as I initially thought. Now, Tottenham do have some very good players at the club. Jared Bowen, the star man, 83 rated, 29-year-old. You do feel, though, if they do go down in real life, he's going to be the first out the door. They've also got Valentin Castellanos, who is a fantastic striker at 80 rated and 27-year-old. And they've even got two incredible young players as well. Mateus Fernandes at 78 rated and 21-year-old, and El Hadj Malik Diouf at 21-year-old and 77 rated, named after one of my favourite ever Bolton players. But looking through the rest of the squad, we've got a lot of mid-70 rated players, and that unfortunately just isn't really going to cut it in the Premier League. But I think I'm going to switch this formation up. I don't think the players we've currently got in the team get the best out of our squad. I'm thinking about going with a formation with just one player up front. So we have decided on a 4-2-3-1 formation to take us through to the end of the season, to give us a little bit more cover in front of our defence. One up top in Castellanos, front three of Somerville, Fernandes and Bowen. And you may notice we've gone for two young players at defensive mid in Magassa and Potts, both 22-year-old, both 73 rated, with Souček 31-year-old and on the decline. We want to get young players straight into the team and growing, and I do think we have got a decent defence. We're going with Hermansson in goal while he's the younger goalkeeper. Will this squad have enough to stay up? Only time's going to tell, especially given the fact we can't make any signings, so our first transfer window as West Ham boss could be in the Championship. Now, on this channel, we always let you guys decide the nations we scout players from, and we're actually starting off with a really decent scout at West Ham United. So for season 1, we'll be going with this comment. We will be scouting in Austria, and we try to always look for goalkeepers in season number 1. Bearing in mind, though, we are currently in March, so at the start of season number 2, we will still be scouting in Austria. And you know what, lads? We have already got a really good young goalkeeper in our academy, Jesse Adams. We're going to send him out on loan in season 1. Hopefully he comes back with a bit of development behind him. But whereas all said and done, we are just going to have to lock the starting 11 in for season 1. We've got 8 games to save our season and stay in the Premier League. I personally think we're going to need 9 points to stay up. So let's simulate forward straight through to the end of the season and see who's going to the Championship. So lads, we have reached the end of season number 1, and I'm actually intrigued to see who has gone down. If we look to the starting 11, there's not been a lot of growth. It has only been 2 months, however, and there are some unhappy faces in this squad. I don't think that's boding well at all, boys. It's going to be us who've gone down in it. As we look to the stats, obviously Jared Bowen was our best player, 14 goals and 6 assists. Good to see Castellanos did get 7 goals in 22 games. He was a good signing, but now it is time for the moment of truth. Is it us? Is it Forest? Is it Spurs? Is it Leeds? Who has gone down? Well, it's certainly not us, boys. We finished 16th in the league on 41 points, and Leeds United joined Burnley and Wolves in the Championship, and thankfully in season 2 West Ham are still in the Premier League. Now, in our FA Cup quarter-final against Leeds, it was heartbreak. They would beat us 1-0. No FA Cup glory in season 1 for West Ham, but I will take staying in the Premier League every day of the week. So we have arrived in season number 2, and it looks like the West Ham ownership have listened to the fans' complaints. We've been given a massive £94 million to pull well away from the relegation zone. Now, looking at our starting 11, there's there's 3 positions that I desperately need to improve: CDM, centre-back and goalkeeper, and we will also be looking to trim the squad a little bit as well. So with a very busy transfer window ahead, I think key priority in this transfer window is going to be bringing a new CDM to the club to give our midfield some strength, and we have identified Santiago Heze of Olympiacos, who is 24-year-old and 80 rated. Really good CDM who's decently well-rounded as well. He is going to cost a pretty penny, anywhere from 24 to 30 million pounds will bring him to the London Stadium, but I think that's a good price to pay for such a high quality player. And Santiago Heze becomes the first signing of the West Ham rebuild, and he joins us for 27 million pounds. Now next on the list, we do need a new goalkeeper, and we've identified Mateu Epolo of Anderlecht in the Belgian Pro League. He's 21-year-old, 77 rated, really good young goalkeeper who we have used before, and he's very affordable as well, at up to 18 million pounds to bring him to the London Stadium. I think this would be a fantastic signing at that price. And Epolo becomes our new number 1. He joins us for just 15 million, and this is an absolute steal. And now we need a new centre-back, and we've identified another player from the Belgian Pro League, Joel Ordonez of Club Bruges, who's 22-year-old, 78 rated, very good young defender, 6'2" as well. This could be the most costly deal of the season so far. Up to 36 million pounds could be needed to bring him to the London Stadium, but it's a great young defender with excellent potential, someone who could potentially be a future captain going forward. And Joel Ordonez becomes the 3rd signing of season number 2, joining for 29 million. And these 3 signings definitely make us a lot stronger on paper. Hopefully this means we're going to pull well away from the relegation zone. Now our scouts are still scouting in Austria, and they're only going to come back in January. It's probably going to be season 3 when we use another scouting recommendation. After those signings, we are left with 17 million pounds, which we are going to use to bring some new coaches to the club and sort out some contracts. But we are expecting some outgoings in this transfer window. As we can see, quite a few players listed for transfer and 1 young player listed for loan, who is actually 6'9" at 16-year-old. That must break a world record. And there has been some notable outgoings as well in this transfer window. As we can see, lads, Maxwell Cornet, Thomas Souček, James Ward-Prowse all leave the club. We have sold Michael Forbes, who had no chance of ever getting into the first team, and loaned out a youngster, Jesse Adams, who we will keep an eye out for. What does that mean for our starting 11? Well, this is going to be the West Ham team that takes us into season 2, and it's instantly looking a lot stronger on paper. Our 3 new signings are all very good. We're locking the team in for season number 2. The bench is looking decent as well, has to be said, and we're now just going to simulate forward straight through to the end of the season. Hopefully we can pull well away from the relegation zone. I wouldn't mind actually finishing in mid-table. So season 2 is now completed, boys, and looking at our starting 11, we have seen a lot of growth throughout the entire team. Only 2 players are now below 80 rated in Todibo and Magassa, and I can't lie, boys, that's where we're going to be looking to improve the team in season number 3. And looking at the stats, Valentin Castellanos had a really good season, Jared Bowen had a good season, and so did Somerville. They were our 3 best players. They did score pretty much all of our goals. Given the fact we've got 2 players who've got 20 goals this season, surely that means we've at least got into the top half of the Premier League. But before we check, 1 player will be leaving the club at the end of the season. Alphonse Areola has not been offered a new deal and will be leaving the club. And it's a 13th place finish for West Ham in season number 2 on 46 points. We did finish a very long way away from the relegation zone, 20 points clear, winning 13 games. We did lose 18 times, but we have got a positive goal difference as we scored 62 goals thanks to Castellanos and Bowen. And for the 2nd consecutive season in the FA Cup, we would reach the quarterfinals, but we did lose 4-2 at home to Newcastle. We would go on to lose to Spurs in the final. And speaking of finals, we would make our first final of the rebuild, but unfortunately we did lose to rivals Chelsea, who beat us 3-2. Can't lie, big shame this, boys, because if we would have won this trophy, we would have qualified for the Conference League, which, as we know, West Ham have had a good time in. So we're now into season 3, and we once again have a very good budget of £94 million. And as we know, we're going to be looking for a centre-back and CDM. However, looking to our bench, we are missing a backup winger, so you can add one of them to the list as well. Now, for our first incoming of season number 3, we've identified a centre-back whose career has really tailed off in recent years, mainly due to injuries and some poor performances. We've identified identified Wesley Fofana as the Todibo replacement. He's 26-year-old, 82 rated, a really good defender in game. Should still have a little bit of room to grow at 26-year-old, and he's going to be very, very cost effective. 26 to 33 million to bring him to the London Stadium. I think this could be a really good signing in the long term. And just 28 million is all it takes to bring Wesley Fofana to the London Stadium, and I'm really happy with this signing. And when it comes to signing a new CDM, we have identified our man Sergio Altimira of Real Betis, who's 25-year-old and 81 rated, 6'2", and very, very well rounded. At 25-year-old, he's still got some room for development, and he's going to be very cost effective again. We're going to be paying anywhere from 25 to 31 million for him, and I think he massively improves the centre of our midfield. And once again, just 28 million is needed to bring Sergio Altimira to the London Stadium, and I genuinely think we've done some excellent business bringing Fofana and Altimira to the club. Now, we still have 29 million in the bank, and we are missing a backup winger off our bench. That's going to be the next objective, and we are going to be looking to bring Benjamin Dominguez to the club at 23-year-old and 77 rated with really decent stats, recently relegated with Sheffield United, and he's going to be very cost effective. Once again, less than 22 million to sign him. Could be a really good backup winger who can still grow into a really decent player. And we complete the signing of Benjamin Dominguez for just 19 million, genuinely rounding off what I think's been a very good transfer window. So with our new signings added to the starting 11, this is how the West Ham team is looking going into season number 3. Very, very good team on paper. Everyone's above 80 rated. Bowen's still our strongest player at 84 rated, but we are lacking a real superstar in this team. I'm hopeful one player can have a great season in terms of growth, become that superstar for us. Our bench is looking a lot more balanced as well, with Dominguez on there. Todibo, Alvarez and Magassa make us look very, very strong. We've got good options. And we're back to scouting in your recommended nations in season 3. For this season, we are going with this comment. We are going to be scouting in the Philippines, and we're going to be looking for attackers and midfielders while we're over in Southeast Asia. Now, there has been 4 outgoings in this transfer window. We have sold the likes of Max Kilman and Lewis Alford, who've both left the club. Kilman going to Aston Villa, which is a pretty significant transfer. We've also loaned out Callum Marshall and Ezra Meyers. They have both gone out on loan to the Dutch League for 2 seasons. As we lock the starting 11 in for season number 3, we're now going to simulate forward to the end of the season. Have we got enough to crack the top 10? Hopefully time will tell. So we have arrived at the end of season 3, and as we can see, the team is now looking very, very good with some really high rated players like Altimira, Bowen and Ordonez. But you may notice there's a new face in the squad in the attacking midfield position. Something I really like to do on this channel is completely miss that someone has got a buyout clause, and unfortunately Mateus Fernandez did have a buyout clause of 54 million, and he has gone to Brentford. So we acted swiftly to bring in a replacement, bringing Carney Chukwuemeka into the club from Borussia Dortmund for 42 million, and his stats are absolutely fantastic. He's got really good potential. As a like-for-like switch, I actually think Chukwuemeka's the better player, and he would actually go on to have a really decent first season as a hammer, getting 14 goals and 10 assists. Obviously Bowen was our best player with 19 goals and 8 assists. Castellanos and Altimira got double figures as well. Have we finished in the top 10 though? Well, we have managed to achieve a 6th place finish in the Premier League, which has secured us Conference League football, and we all know West Ham have got very happy memories of the Conference League. But if one of Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea or Man United have won the Carabao Cup or FA Cup, I think that puts us into the Europa League. Or Crystal Palace win the FA Cup, beating Man City again, and Newcastle United win the Carabao Cup, which I think means for us we are just in the Conference League. So we've now arrived in season 4. I think it's season 4 or maybe season 3, and we've got 93 million once again. We've had very consistent budgets across this rebuild. There are a few positions that I do want to improve in the squad. Looking at our starting 11, I think it's time to bring a new right back to the club and replace Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who's 30 years old. The rest of the squad are at a pretty good age. I know Bowen's 31, but he's 87 rated and he is our best player. After bringing in a right back, I will be looking to improve our bench a little bit. I think we definitely need a backup striker. No idea why there's 69 rated players on our bench, by the way. Definitely want a backup striker. Definitely want a backup attacking midfielder, just to give us some depth going into Europe this season. And speaking of Europe, which competition are we in? None. I think that's because Newcastle and Crystal Palace won the domestic cup, so we don't even have European football this season. And we have identified the right back we want to bring to the London Stadium. It's Arnaud Martinez, who's currently playing for Frankfurt in the Bundesliga. 83 rated, 25-year-old with really well balanced stats, and he can also play a multitude of positions, which is really helpful for us. And he's going to be pretty cost effective, 38 to 48 million to bring him to the club. I think we can get him for around 42-43 million. And our first signing of the season is our new number 3, Arno Martinez, who joins us for £45 million. Now it's time to find a new backup striker and backup attacking midfielder, and I think we should be in a good position to attack season number 4. We have found 2 players that we do want to bring into the club to be backup options. The first is Bae Jun-ho of Stoke City. 24-year-old and 78 rated. He has got decent stats, would be a decent signing. We've also identified Zeki Amdouni from Burnley to be a backup striker option for us. Good stats, 79 rated, cheap player. We're going to bring these 2 to the club. And Bae Jun-ho is the first to sign for the club, joining for £20 million. Zeki Amdouni joins the club for £18 million, rounding off our incomings for season number 4. And with only 600k in the bank, I can't see us making another signing. However, we do have a few players listed for transfer. So we have had a few outgoings as well in this transfer window. The likes of Mohamedou Kante, Walker Peters and Urfi have been sold for fees, while 2 youngsters do go out on loan for season number 4. But as we head into season number 4, our team is looking very strong. Our bench is looking a lot better. I'm really hopeful of European football come the end of the season. We are just going to simulate forward straight through to the end of the season. And after a 6th place finish in season number 3, I'm confident we can get some kind of European football. So another season has been completed, and if we look to our team, we're looking very strong on paper. The lowest rated player in our starting 11 is Alhaj Malik Diouf, who's 83 rated. The rest of the team are 84 rated or above, which is very decent. We've got a strong bench as well. Things are looking good going into season number 5. And just checking the stats, we've had 4 players reach double figures for goals this season, with Valentin Castellanos being our top scorer with 28 goals and 8 assists. Carney Chukwuemeka had a very good season, getting 17 goals and 13 assists. But how have we got on in the Premier League? We've actually managed to finish 2nd in the league on 76 points, which does bring Champions League football to the London Stadium. We only lost 6 of our 38 games. We were 9 points behind the winners, Manchester City, and we'll join Liverpool, Arsenal and City in the Champions League in season number 5. However, we're still lacking trophies in our trophy cabinet. We did lose to Arsenal in the 4th round of the FA Cup. They beat us 2-1, and we would reach the Carabao Cup semi-finals, but ultimately we would lose 3-2 on aggregate to Liverpool. Hopefully season 5 can finally bring us a trophy. So we've arrived in season 5 and we're met with a massive transfer budget of £216 million, which will go a very long way. Now, looking at the starting 11, there's a few positions that I do want to improve in. One being left back. Alhaj Malik Diouf is 83 rated and 24-year-old. I think if we can bring a world-class left back to the club, it's going to give us a very big boost. And you may notice Jared Bowen has started to decrease in overall. He is 32-year-old. He's already dropped to 87 rated. He was 88 rated at the end of last season. And I may also look to bring a new left midfielder in as well to replace Somerville. So a left back, right mid and left mid will be signed. I'm looking to sign world-class players only. So the first position we're going to be looking to improve in this transfer window will be right midfield, and we have identified Ryan of Bournemouth, who looks incredible. 85 rated, 22-year-old. His stats are amazing. Loads of play styles as well. This will be probably the most costly deal of season number 5. We could be paying up to £81 million for him. And Ryan becomes our most high-profile signing today, as he joins the club for £70 million. But the arrival of Ryan has disrupted Jared Bowen, and unfortunately he would like to leave the club in this transfer window. Now we've signed a right mid, we want to bring in a left mid. Saeed Al-Mala of Inter Milan is our top target at 84 rated, 22-year-old, fantastic stats, 4-star and can play loads of positions. And because his contract is expiring in 11 months time, we can get him on the cheap. Could pay as little as £39 million for him, and he can actually reach 90 potential. And for just £45 million, we complete the signing of Saeed Al-Mala. That's a left mid and right mid sorted. We now need a new left back, and we've identified Miguel Gutierrez of Atalanta, who's 27-year-old and 85 rated with incredibly well-rounded stats. Could even play as a left midfielder, is that good. And he is pretty cost effective. We're going to pay a maximum of £59 million for him, and at 85 rated, this is such a big upgrade on Diouf. And the deal for Gutierrez is completed, setting us back £56 million. That's 3 excellent signings made in the transfer window so far, but there will definitely be some outgoings in this transfer window for sure. And the day has unfortunately come, boys. Jared Bowen does leave the club. He's gone to Manchester City, a title rival. He went for £83 million. Goes with our best wishes, except when we go to play him. We've also sold Konstantinos Mavropanos. He's gone to Como for £8.5 million. But with Champions League football coming to the London Stadium this season, I think our team is more than prepared to head straight in and hopefully get to at least the quarterfinals. This is a fantastic team on paper. While we are lacking a 90 rated superstar, we've got loads of well-rounded, balanced players. I'm expecting players like El Mala, Chukwuemeka and Ryan to have excellent seasons of growth as well. There'll be no more changes to the starting 11, so we are just going to lock the team in for the new new season. No one else has left the football club. We are simulating forward straight through to the end of season 5. Finally managed to secure European football. We now need to secure ourselves a trophy. So we have arrived at the end of season 5 and our team is looking very, very strong on paper. We've seen loads of growth in multiple positions. This is a team I think could challenge to win the Champions League, especially with how good our bench is as well. I'm actually really intrigued to see how we've got on this season. And looking to our stats, Castellanos has got 30 goals. El Mala, Chukwuemeka and Ryan all got a lot of goals as well. No one else in the squad really contributed other than these 4 players. But what does that mean for West Ham United? Where did we finish in the league? Well, we have won the Premier League, boys, finishing 13 points clear of second place Chelsea, securing Champions League football again in season 6, and finally adding a trophy to our trophy cabinet. However, unfortunately, boys, we would lose in the FA Cup 5th round to Arsenal, who beat us 2-1. We'd fare no better in the Carabao Cup, a 4th round exit to Aston Villa, who also beat us 2-1. And well, the Premier League champions did not even qualify for the knockout rounds of the Champions League. We were knocked out in the league phase. We finished 25th, getting knocked out on goal difference. That is shocking. But we have arrived in season 6 and we've got 168 million in the bank, and the 2 positions that I really want to improve in this transfer window. We're going to be replacing Wesley Fofana, boys. We're going to try and bring in a centre-back who's like 88 rated. I was also thinking about replacing Castellanos, but he scored 30 goals last season, to be fair to him. But I think I'm just going to focus on spending all of our money on a new centre-back, and we don't even need any replacements on the bench, boys. It's so strong. I may look to bring a backup goalkeeper in to replace Hermanson. One of our academy players has come back at 20-year-old and 77 rated. I think I'm just going to throw him on the bench instead. And before we go out and make this next signing, I just want you to ask yourself, when was the last time on this channel we went out and splashed a load of money on an absolutely world-class player? Because we've got our eyes on William Pacho of PSG, 28-year-old, 90 rated. Look at the stats, look at the play style. We could have to pay 136 million for him. I don't care. We never sign players like this on this channel, so we are doing in this rebuild. And we do complete the signing of William Pacho, who joins the club for 110 million pounds. We don't make signings like this often on this channel, boys, so let's just enjoy this one. And because we've just splashed 110 million pounds on just one player, I'm only allowed to sign Pacho in this transfer window. And we've just spent a bit of time investing in our coaches, and as you can see, we are maxed out and more in every single position. Should give us a big boost going into season 6. And wow, the team we are taking into season 6 is absolutely stacked. No one in the starting 11 is below 85 rated, and this is the strongest bench we have had in FC26. Players like 86 rated Somerville, Juve, Fofana, Alvarez. Honestly, if we don't get out of the league phase this year in the Champions League, I might actually scream. We kick off season 6 with a loss in the Community Shield to Manchester City, who beat us 2-1. A late Kamada goal is the difference. I really hope this ain't a sign of things to come in season 6. Well, season 6 has come to an end, lads, and we have defended our Premier League crown, going back to back. Once again, we're 13 points clear of second place, 27 wins out of 38 games, another Premier League trophy added to our trophy cabinet. We're smashing it with West Ham at the minute. But we were shocking in the FA Cup this season, losing in the 3rd round to Fulham, who beat us 4-2, and we'd also lose in the Carabao Cup quarter-finals. But we have reached the Champions League final, and we will be taking on Real Madrid. Well, in the league phase, we would finish 3rd out of all the sides, going straight to the round of 16, and in the round of 16 we would beat RB Salzburg 4-2 over 2 legs to then set up a quarter-final with Atalanta, which was a very, very good game. 7-4 winners on aggregate, setting up a semi-final with Barca, who we go on to beat 5-2. Real Madrid beat Leipzig 2-1, setting up a Real Madrid versus West Ham United Champions League final. Now, 9 times out of 10 going into this fixture, you'd expect Real Madrid to have the better team, but just look at how strong we are on paper, boys. The lowest rated player in our starting 11 is 87 rated. We've got loads of 90 rated players. Stats of some of our players are absolutely amazing as well. And with the bench that we've got, every single player well above 80 rated, some 86, 85 and 84 rated players on there too. I don't think Real Madrid are going to be too big of a task for us. If we lose the final, I'm fully taking the blame. And in terms of stats, 3 players would get over 20 goals. Castellanos, Ryan and El Mala, where Chukwuemeka would get 30 GA as well. It's going to be pretty difficult to choose a Hall of Famer for this rebuild. It's going to be between Castellanos and Van Bowen, and I'm going to give it to Valentin Castellanos, who has scored so many goals throughout this career mode. I actually thought we'd replace him at some point, and he's made it all the way to the Champions League final. And we now head into that final against Real Madrid. Can we finish off the rebuild with a Champions League trophy? So before we get the final on the way, we do need to check Real Madrid's team. They're playing a 4-4-2, very interestingly, with Endrick and Mbappe up front. They've got Solis, Bellingham, Valverde and Brahim Diaz in midfield. A very strong bench as well. There's nothing really to separate the two sides. Real Madrid will get this final on the way, and will a Champions League trophy be coming back to the London Stadium? Well, we're going to find out in about 3 minutes. Oh dear, don't let Mbappe shoot. That could be a penalty. I knew I'd took him out then off the ball. Ordonez gives a penalty away. Just tried to block the shot when Mbappe shoots, as you can see. Yeah, definite penalty. Come on, Apollo. 85 penalties, 96 finishing, 91 shot power. Come on, Apollo. Let's get it saved. No. Oh, he goes straight down the middle, and it's 1-0 to Real Madrid. An absolutely disastrous start there, boys. Can't lie. Chukwuemeka. Instant response. Saved by Magnan. That's a huge chance. But that's positive. Not even 20 minutes on the clock, and we've had a massive chance. What a ball. Malo. 1-1, instant response. Would have been so easy to just crumble after going 1-0 down, but that's a great bit of work by Chukwuemeka. Gets Almala in, and he's never going to miss from there. 1-1. What a start to this game. Mbappe with a shot from distance, thankfully going wide. We're giving him a little bit too much time on the ball for my liking. Endrick straight to Apollo. Jesus, what are we doing? That's half time, boys. I can't lie. We're pretty lucky to be level going into the break. We need to step it up in the second half. So the second half now on the way. Let's just hope for a bit of a better performance in this half. Maker. That's a great ball back to Almala. We've got 3-on-1 here. Across the box. Oh, it's gone behind Tati, but Ryan. What a save by Magnan. Gutierrez. That's a good ball. Massive gap. Tati, can he make it 2-1? Shoots 2-1 to West Ham United. It's our Hall of Famer Castellanos with the goal. That's why he's our Hall of Famer, boys. Now we need to just not concede. Oh no, Valverde. Oh God, that's gone wide. Took Brahim Diaz off and brought Vinicius Jr. on. No idea why he's not started. Castellanos, that's a great ball out wide to Salah. Mala even. You see the cross. Great ball. Touch for Ryan. Shoots. It's in, boys. It's 3-1 to West Ham. We hit Real Madrid on the counter-attack, and surely that is game over. Mbappe got a bit of time on the edge of the box. A nice turn. A great save by Apollo. We need to get the rebound. I don't think it matters if we concede. That's definitely a foul. I don't think it matters if this goes in, boys. We're well over the allotted injury time. It looks like we've won the Champions League. Madrid can score this free kick. Let's have a look. Bellingham to strike. Looks like it's saying, oh, just wide. But there is the full-time whistle, boys. West Ham United are the champions of Europe. Some very, very clinical finishing in that final. And West Ham United are finally the champions of Europe. And that is another rebuild successfully boxed off. So just want to say a massive thank you for watching the video, boys. If you have enjoyed it, please be sure to like and subscribe. Many more rebuilds to come in the future.